Alex, what were you saying? Sorry, I rudely interrupted you.
Well, it wasn't rudely, but it was an interruption. I was just talking about Kim Flintoff's idea that one has the ability to, as in the Second Life example of participation, and then using the architecture in Second Life to res an architectural forms that changes the whole nature of the conversation. And his example was a series of concentric circles, and people could move between one circle and another, and the power of the circle was apparent. But then when he changed the circle, they then were able to sit in seats in a tiered amphitheatre, and the seats were floating like saddles off the ground. So the outside circle became elevated, so participation in the nature of amphitheatres where the leaders in the centre just changed the whole dimensions of collaborative, participative discussion.
And that wouldn't have been possible in a real life environment?
No, because the architectures that you have mean that you either are tiered at a single level within a room, or that you'd have to go into a lectorial sort of position. And that is like only a small slab of the whole amphitheatre. So a lecture theatre is actually like one segment of the pie, rather than frequenting between other, changing them around.
And so, floating, you're saying?
Yes, yeah. Essentially, you could say, I want to sit here, and that was an architecture which was higher than everything else, but it has a different value in the virtual environment as to what it did in the physical environment. So it actually empowered the conversation.
And how were those values determined? He determined the values.
He hadn't determined them. He had said, take for instance those who do not wish to participate clearly as to lead the conversation can move to the outside circle over here, because you'll be out of the conversation. Those that wish to participate actively can stand in the centre circle, and those that wish to lead stand in the middle. And by gradual crowd control and gradual crowd dynamic, only a few people stood in the centre, a few people stood on the internal circle, and quite a lot of people wanted to participate. But then when he raised this seated arrangement, it suddenly shifted and changed the whole dynamic. And the people that were up high were actually the leaders of the conversation, and the people in the middle were facilitating conversation. So they were surrounded rather than leading it. So it just changed the dynamic. That was the power of that virtual environment. So there is a great deal of prospect in utilising, particularly within industry, those types of virtual environments to induce or to explicitly, erase those architectures that otherwise thwart conversation.